Dead Rising 4 opens up with Frank West reliving some past memories through a dream. You then follow Frank being escorted to a research facility near Willamette by his student Vicky, discovering that despite there being a cure and a vaccination for the zombie virus, there are actually some zombies at this facility and they're being kept and experimented on. Frank and Vic manage to get some hard evidence, but Frank's unwillingness to involve himself beyond documenting what is happening actually causes Vic to abandon him, and he then becomes a wanted man. Brad Park from the Dead Rising 3 DLC actually tracks him down and convinces Frank to join him in exposing what's happening to help clear his name. One of the biggest changes that you're going to notice in this game, though, is that Frank West has gotten a complete overhaul. And this doesn't just extend to how he looks, his voice actor and even his personality are very different. Dead Rising 4 primarily takes place around Christmas, with the outbreak having started during Black Friday at the opening of a new mega mall in Willamette. This mall itself is pretty detailed, but the heavy Christmas theming does rob it of a lot of the personality it would have otherwise had. You also barely spend any time in this mall because after the first couple of chapters, there's not really a reason to return as you're exploring the larger city. A lot of mechanics from the previous Dead Rising titles do return. Frank is still upgraded with points that he gets when he levels, like in Dead Rising 3. Combo weapons and combo vehicles also return with a bunch of new recipes, and one of the big new features that this game brings to the table is exosuits. Putting these on makes Frank extremely powerful, and there's specific weapons that can be used while wearing said suits. I found controlling Frank a little bit harder when you're wearing the suit, but even just in general, I found him surprisingly clunky and unwieldy to control. The camera mechanic also returns in this game in a big way, with you needing to photograph evidence as you continue along the story. There are a couple of survivors that have quests that you need to complete for them, but the vast majority of survivors that you come across, you just need to clear the zombies that are around them, and then they'll drop some loot and run away. Psychopath battles have also been mostly removed from Dead Rising 4, replaced instead with much smaller encounters with enemies that are called maniacs, and you actually get to control a zombified Frank killing humans. You have an entirely hand-based moveset, and you actually feed on zombies and other people to regain health. This is probably the most fun and inventive thing that the entire game did, and unfortunately it's locked behind a DLC. In addition to Frank Rising, there's several other DLC packs released for Dead Rising 4. You play as several different characters in exosuits on different mini-golf courses. These courses are filled with zombies, and Frank commentates. This just did not deliver on the fun for me. As you can probably tell from this glowing review, I did not particularly enjoy Dead Rising 4. It had a ton of super annoying mechanics. It left out a ton of things that make a Dead Rising game a Dead Rising game. I didn't initially hate it, but as more time went on, I definitely found myself having a bad time.